Saturday the 15th of December 2025. Let's think about that. In this evening's show, we react to Saturday's 2-2 draw against Lincoln at Bloomfield Road, with Blackpool showing new battling qualities and resilience to get back into the game after a shocking start to the match. We'll also catch up on a fine midweek win away at Rotherham, 3-0. Look ahead to Wigan Away this coming Saturday in a Lancashire derby and another important game. I'm International. This is Seaside's podcast, match reaction show. Blackpool 2, Lincoln City 2.
Great tradition.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Seaside's podcast on a Monday, usual slot, 8 p.m. Evening, Big Dog, evening, Mark, evening, Rocky in the comments. And on the panel this evening are the Grice, Reaper, Mitch, and Tim. Mitch, been a while since you've last been on. Your dulcet tones and Gaz stats have been missed, so we're hoping there's something up your sleeve, and you're muted, I'm afraid. So there you go.
Out of the habit there, John. It's because I'm always compliant with your order that we mute during the introduction.
Well, actually, when that live video plays, it auto mutes everybody, so you don't need to do that anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, you see, that's how much I've been out of the loop. But I've got a good stat tonight. It's not a Gaz one, but it is quite a good one.
Are you going to be keeping your powder dry on that?
I will. I'll wait for the time and then unleash it.
Make us all look stupid.
Tim, in your full office.
You borrowed a Timism then. You borrowed a Timism then, didn't you? I've noticed I've seen on AVFTT today they've had for those of a certain vintage has appeared a couple of times. And it's like we get going through Blackpool rock, isn't it? It's getting ingrained now in Blackpool culture and folklore.
Well, there was a good one, Tim. I've not been very well recently. And I never have time off work. And I actually had a day off work. And you know when you come back into work and you have these stupid paperwork to do, and you have to have a back to work interview. Your manager goes, "What do we need to put on the form?" And I really, really wanted to say just general malaise.
You should have.
I should have done, shouldn't I? Yeah. I can hear them in AVFTT going, "Oh, they've started off chatting shit. Get on with the football."
I'm not beholden to those people on there.
No,
if we want to chat shit, we can chat shit.
I know we're usually international, but we're further international tonight. We're broadcasting to South Africa. Big G, who ex of FY8, the FY8, the old minibus from St Anne's. There you go.
I've had somebody from the States asking for a link, so we are really, truly international, aren't we? Multi-continental, even.
Indeed.
Well, we've always got David Coleman in Saskatchewan as well, don't we? So
multi-continental will be entering the dictionary, similar to soft. What was it?
Soft hospitality.
Soft hospitality.
It's not quite got the same ring to it as soft hospitality. I think that's going to be a lifestyle phrase that's used forever. In 5 years' time, you're going to hear it all the time and think, why didn't somebody else not think of that?
It's the sort of thing you'd see in like the Telegraph culture supplement, wouldn't it? Like the soft hospitality boom.
Big G's best story was when I was very scared of him when he bought a pizza back one night for an away game, and I stayed at his house with it because I'd been out with his brother for the night, and I ate his pizza that he'd saved for breakfast when I got him pissed. I enjoyed his anger the next morning. Luckily, I've made up for it since, and he's a top fella.
Did you make up for it by offering him some soft hospitality?
Make him a bacon butty. That's soft hospitality.
Yeah, that's it. No, he's a top lad, and welcome to the pod, Big G.
I made up my own soft hospitality by getting a pie en route from no longer the Cottage Bakery. It's called the Bloomfield Bakery. It's rebranded. So yeah, I didn't trust getting a pie at the ground, so I brought my own in. £1.30 missed there for the catering team, but that's another story. Right, let's get on with the show. Blackpool 2, Lincoln City 2. This was your starting 11.
Aren't we doing Rotherham first?
Shifters. Rotherham, okay. Yeah, I've forgotten all about that. Yeah, who saw that coming? First win there since...
Not me.
97? Something like that?
It was a while.
I probably saw 3-0 the other way coming, but no, very good.
What a start from Imre.
Yeah.
He just shows, doesn't he? It just shows, because sometimes you wonder whether you big these players up and about how important they are to you, don't you? But what was immediately apparent in that game was how much we'd missed what he brings to the team, the way he drives forward with the ball, the way he takes the game to the opposition. I mean, Evo played him incredibly far forward, particularly in the first half, if I remember rightly. He was basically playing on the right wing, wasn't he? Didn't he? Fantastic first goal, and just seemed to be involved in everything. And he just proved to me that if we'd have had him the last 3 or 4 months, I don't think we would be quite where we are now. And we can say the same thing about Ennis and the same thing arguably about Morgan, I think. And I think hopefully we're going to, these players are coming back just at the right time.
Anyone else catch the game?
I didn't. I've seen the highlights. I didn't see any of it because I was having a cultural evening. So I missed
Dumbarton
it.
Or something.
I mean, watching say what?
In Dumbarton or Middlesbrough, somewhere like that.
No, I went to watch Brian Cox, and he talked about the universe and that, and I didn't understand a lot of it because he did maths and stuff. But anyway,
can he play centre forward?
Say what?
Can he play centre forward or left wing?
No, but I mean, my mind was blown by the scale of the universe, but even more blown when I came out the theatre and looked at the score and so had won 3-0 away, and that seemed to be the most remarkable thing in the evening. But watching the highlights, the two things that I think stood out for me from the 10-minute highlights were Imre, definitely, but also that Bowler seemed to have a pretty pivotal role and seemed to sort of slip back in and seemed to, seems to suit that role up the middle, knitting things together, and that him and Imre were one of the few sort of combinations that were present. If you remember very early on when we got Bowler back, Imre played a couple of games with Bowler and they actually looked really good together. They looked like they were going to enjoy playing together. And it was sort of 2 minutes in or whatever it was when Bowler slipped Imre in, and the two of them looked really, really happy with the goal. And I think that's not just Imre himself. I think it's that combination of Bowler sort of sitting inside, finding space, playing and timing those passes to Imre's runs. I think that's a potentially a very, very strong thing for the rest of the season.
Bloxham getting the second as well. Good seeing them getting on the score sheet. And the third goal was quite comical almost, wasn't it? CJ and the Rotherham player both colliding and falling into each other, and the ball somehow squirms to Ash Fletcher, who just nods it, just calmly slots it in 3-0, and that put the cherry on the cake on a massive result, really.
Sometimes as well, and I'm not seeking to undermine the performance, but sometimes it's about a bit of luck, isn't it? And I thought we had a little bit of luck with Bloxham's second, a little bit of luck with that third one, and then they've hit the post twice, haven't they? So it's sometimes little things, isn't it? And all of a sudden, what could have been, because we always seem to be on the wrong end of that luck.
Yeah.
It's in that context that I mention it. And it is sometimes, you go back to the opening game of the season, Stevenage, and they had a lot of luck in that game, I thought. And we've seemed to be really, we've been lucky with injuries, we've been unlucky with certain aspects of the game, some of the goals we've conceded. And it was nice for a change to think we've actually had the rub of the green. I thought 3-0 possibly flat. They weren't very good, but I thought 3-0 sort of flattered us a bit. But it was good that we got the rub of the green, and hopefully we want to be lucky teams are winning teams, aren't they? And the flip side is the argument is you make your own luck. But I think sometimes it is about do things fall right for you. And I thought they fell right for us that night, and it was a pleasant surprise that because they'll have been whinging, saying, "Oh well, we hit the post twice, and they've had a couple of lucky ones." But we're normally the ones whinging about that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Can I pick up on just one thing with CJ? Just I think Everett has last 3 games. I mean, Carlisle, he came on and it was entertaining, his cameo. He could have scored a hat-trick, CJ, in that last 10 minutes against Carlisle. Certainly should have scored 2. He came on at Rotherham and he chased that down for the goal, and then he chased another one down and nearly scored himself. And then, as we'll go on to in the last game, he assists the equalising goal. And when's the last time you'd go and say, well, CJ's had 3 sort of pretty effective games in a row, but using him in the last 15, 20 minutes in a purely attacking way, it's actually getting something out of him. And, right now, we're a bit short. Everett's playing his cards well, I think, is the point I'm trying to make.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, a lot of the time last season, there was quite a few of the podcasters who were saying that's how you play CJ, isn't it? You use him as an impact sub, and he can be. That's where when legs are tiring in the opposition, he may get you something. And I think it's a valid point. I was watching the goals back before we came on, and it was noticeable. He seemed to be involved a fair bit.
And we seem to be also we're also seeing something different with Fletcher, where Bruce used to take him off a lot. Around 70 minutes, 60, 70 minutes or whatever, right? But now Everett leaves him on all the way to the end.
I remember Bruce saying something like, he sort of said something like, "Oh, chance would be a fine thing getting 90 minutes out of Ash," or something like that. But he doesn't look like that, does he? Like you say, he's got a stamina and that we haven't seen before.
Well, he's lasting 90 minutes now, so
yeah.
And I think
his goals are coming in the final 10 minutes of games as well.
We went over it last week, and we've, whoever it is at the club that's sorting contracts out needs to get the contract on the table to his agent like sharpish.
We've got that great Tom Johnson stat. I don't know if anybody's got it to hand, but the one he put in the podcast group beforehand, which I'm gonna.
So this was a stat for those that are not on the podcast chat. It sort of went through the goals per calendar year that Ash Fletcher scored, and in 2020 he scored 7, 2021 4, didn't score in 22. Bear in mind he's not playing a lot of games in these years, by the way. 23 he scored 2, 24 he scored 2, and in 2025 he scored 21 so far.
Right. And if you add his assists to that as well,
absolutely, I agree with you, Mitch. And they, we've got to do something about it. We went over it last week, but seriously, I would have thought somebody had done something about it by now, even, and I'm not sure they are. And I am absolutely 100% that teams will know that he's out of contract at the end of the season, and there'll be offers coming in. If he gets another 10 or 12, right, then championship.
Well, January he can start talking to people, can't he?
He can. Yeah.
He looks happy, which is
absolutely. I was going to say
he's playing with a smile on his face. I don't want to jump ahead, but he came up into the lounge after the game on Saturday, and he was beaming all over. He's clearly enjoying his football at the moment, and that's half the battle sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
it's not going to take a king's ransom to keep him here, but an improvement on his contract for sure. But it's not going to. It's probably going to take less to keep him here than it would to prize him away, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And The fact that he's enjoying his football and he looks as though he's playing with a smile on his face when you watch him, doesn't he? The other thing is, and I go for Bloxham here as well, and that we've had an inability to find his runs. Sometimes he makes clever little runs, and we don't find him. And I think we've got to get people within our midfield that can look up and see those runs, because, like, obviously, that when something happened on Saturday, and you had like Morgan and Evans both trying to come back beyond the halfway line to fetch the ball, and you're just going, no, impact the game further forward. And if people can get their head up more, they'll see these runs. And the season
Imre seems to be able to find him well enough, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, just a footballer on a different level. And I think, honestly, where Fletcher's played, he's probably above some of the lads in the level of thinking. And if he's not, if we're not careful, you know, we've got to get somebody in the midfield that can find the balls forward and get the red up. If that comes from within, great. But, like, you know, Evans is not the answer, is he?
Well, I just looked up his assists in the last 2 seasons. So on top of them 21 goals, there's 10 assists, which is, I mean, that's serious, isn't it? 31 goal involvements in a year. That's serious numbers.
That's what led to Abter and Carey going, wasn't it? Lots of assists.
Yeah. I think that the hope is that you know, Carey's 24, Abter was 22. The hope is that Fletcher will be less tempting because he's going to be, he was 30 already at the start of this season. So next year he'll be 31. So he's not really going to be a saleable asset for anybody. That's the one hope, that his value is suppressed because of his age in comparison with Rob Apter. You chuck your money at a player like Rob Apter, not just because of what Rob Apter can theoretically do for you, because if it comes off, you can also potentially make 10, 15 million quid. But you're not going to make that on a 31-year-old Ash Fletcher. So that's the, I suppose, another thing going with what Gricey was saying. Club needs to get and make him feel wanted. And, you know,
he might be a bit young to be dishing out 3 or 4 year contracts, though. We may have to leave it another couple of years and then give him his big deal.
Yeah. Wait till he's just sort of petering off. And then.
As Bison said, we all know how on the ball David Downs is. So come on, Downsy. This is up to you to sort out. You've dropped the ball on another certain contract. Shall no longer be talked about.
If they drop the ball on this one, I think the fans would have enough. We're already not happy, are we, with the 4-year contract for a Hackaway? We're not, we're not. So, like, let's be fair. We need to do something very proactive on this. And do it quick.
Do you know he's played 72 games for us? Can you believe that? That seems to have gone quick, doesn't it? 23 goals. That's a goal every 3 games, more or less. He's the most
72 games.
72 games, yeah. Yep.
You sure? Seems a lot.
I'm looking at FotMob now. Yeah, that's what it says. 72 appearances, 23 goals. Played Middlesbrough 89 times. That's his previous biggest appearances for one single club.
We just go back to what we were. He's really enjoying it. It looks like he's enjoying it. He wants to be there. He's the main man. He's scoring goals. Like, what's there not to like? Like, the fans love him. Like, just go for it.
Well, it's talk in the chat, Andy, that we've got a Carl 1-year option on him. You're shaking your head.
Fletcher does have an extension on his contract.
Well, there's somebody else on before, so there's a plus 1 to be activated, but I don't know. I don't profess to know. I don't.
That's not my information, but, like, I might be wrong, but I think you'll find I'm right here, but I'm, here we go.
Place your bets. Who's right? Forza, Valken, or Andy Grice?
Andy Porter's saying, according to FM26, he has a year option to activate at the end of this season. So I hope we do. I hope we do, and that gives us that little bit of breathing space, if so, doesn't it? But Bison's made a good point. To be fair, he's the end of this contract is probably his last chance to get some decent money. And the thing is, we've been dishing out what I think is decent money. I can't imagine Fletcher at the moment is pushing against the top earners in the club, and that goes back to the conversation we had probably 1 or 2 pods ago, where and they'll all know what the others are on, won't they? And they'll want parity. And I think if anybody deserves parity at the moment, if he's not already up there, it would be Fletch, wouldn't it?
I've got the definitive answer. Inspired by the appearance of Sean McGinley, I've done some genuine journalism, and I've Googled June 2024, Blackpool Football Club is delighted to announce the signing of forward Ashley Fletcher. Fletcher joins the Seasiders on a 2-year contract, with the club also holding an option for a further year following his departure from Sky Bet Championship outfit, Watford. So he's got another year.
Andy Porter 1, Andy Grice
0. That's at least I forecast us to score 0 every week.
Nick could have made it onto this pod this evening. He is on the bench, so I think it's time to make a half-time substitution, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Grice is the high hack away of the Seasiders podcast. Get him off at half-time. Pretend he's injured his toe.
Sad will be up there in his ivory tower going, another manufactured panic, I see.
But Bison's has made another good point there. He still should be offered a new contract on improved terms. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right, fun and games there. That was Rotherham 0, Blackpool 3. Let's move on to the main topic this evening, which is Blackpool at home to Lincoln, which ended up 2-2. Let's get the starting 11 on, let's get that banner off. There we go. Right, don't come for me, whoever's going to say this isn't the correct layout of the squad. Fotmob cut and paste job. So, Peacock Farrell in net. 3 across the back, as ever. Back in, hack away, Horsefall in the middle, Ashworth on the left. Midfield, 3, Evans and Honeyman sitting, Bowler playing the advanced cam role. Imre, right wing back, Coulson, left wing back, Bloxham and Fletcher picks itself, doesn't it? Right, who wants to come in on this? Apparently, Hackaway was injured and, like the trooper he is, according to Evo, volunteered to play. Was it a poor decision by Evo to allow him to play? Let's come to you, Tim.
On balance, I would say yes. And I do wonder
big physical
whether
team Lincoln apparently, and that was his thinking. So
and listen, we've got to trust Evo to a degree, And if you look at his options, his alternative options, Hubby looked a bit short of match fitness against Rotherham, I thought, and I can understand why he's thinking, I don't want to go there. Obviously, Casey's out. And his other real option is to drop, as he does later on in the game, drop Lyons in there. But Lyons is quite lightweight, isn't he? So he's got a call to make, and as a manager, you make these calls, and I'm sure he did it with the best thoughts and best of interest. I do wonder how injured he was, and I do wonder whether what he says post match is him covering for the fact that he's hooked him, so he doesn't throw him to the wolves a bit.
I thought that, Tim.
I thought exactly the same.
I think convincing, was he? I wasn't convinced by the.
I think it's a hard shout, though, like Tim says, and realistically, if you play Hubby, regardless of fitness, and as the world's biggest Jimmy Husband fan, I would say he was a bit, or certainly from what I've seen, he looked a bit rusty against Rotherham. Then really, you're going to have to play Horsefall on the right-hand side, because you can't play Ashworth or Husband on the right-hand side because they're both very left-footed. So then which one of them would you want at the heart of your defence? Probably neither of them against Lincoln. If you drop Lyons in, which we did at half time, like you said, John, he's very lightweight, and Lincoln, they're going to load the box. They're full of big lads. So that's a tough call from the start. And I think it's one of them where after he's had a dreadful half of football, you end up going, well, he shouldn't have picked him. But I think you'd be a brave man to pick Andy Lyons against a physical side like Lincoln from the off. Very brave man, and also a very brave man to shuffle Fraser Horsfall out of the midfield to accommodate two players who are probably more left backs than centre backs to be your defensive linchpin. Both of those are invidious. What it comes down to is the fact we've planned for a season with two at the back, so we don't actually have defensive cover for a three centre back setup.
There's literally no one on the bench that, well, Lyons aside, that could have played that role. Hubby wasn't even the starting. Was it in the squad, was he?
He was on the bench.
Was he on the bench? Right, okay.
I think he was.
Yeah, he was, sorry, yeah. Anyone else, any comments on that? Lee Evans back in the squad? Probably the obvious choice when Brown was suspended, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's probably a game or two too early for Morgan to be considered as I was sort of half hoping that Morgan might start, but realistically, he's been out a long time, hasn't he? Probably throwing him in to play a full, assuming he's going to play a full 90. Because I think if you start, it's all right saying, well, play him until they get knackered, but you want to start players who you're confident are good for the full 90, don't you? And I think with Evans, his hands was tied there. I think there is a big problem with Evans for me, you know, just from the way it's how he affects the way we play and slowing play down where we actually want to speed it up. But I think it was probably the right call on balance.
Casey's back, I think, next Saturday.
Well, he was up in the lounge before the game. Was Casey, and he said he'd be. I think I put it in the podcast chat actually. It's on Saturday. That he said it's only a little niggle and he's back next week. So he's back for a weekend.
Big Dog Andy says, not brave, common sense vis-a-vis the picking of Lyons. Lyons doesn't get done by pace as much as a Heckway.
No, he wouldn't. I mean, Lyons' his only problem on right back is he on wing back he can't get up and down as well as Imre, but and he was getting caught behind when he was playing that position. When he plays that right centre half, it seems to suit him better at the minute. I don't know if he's lost a bit of pace since his injury.
I think he has. He's not as quick as he was. Yeah.
No, maybe not. And so yeah, he looked okay second half, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think.
Right. First action of the game, really. We've gone one down within.
Well, I thought we really started well for the first. I mean, it might seem
first minute,
like 1 minute 20 seconds in. I'm thinking, oh, all right, okay, they've hardly touched the ball, and we're doing okay here, and we look bright. And
but then we didn't.
Then the free kick happened.
I watched it back. I thought the free kick that the ref gave against Bloxham was a bit soft. He didn't seem to do a great deal, but we just seemed to switch off from that point. I mean, fuck knows where our left-hand side went on that goal because basically...
Where was Coulson? It was just, where was he? That was his man. He was just...
the keeper just did like a little... it was probably 10 or 15 yard pass to it, but he basically had the whole of the right wing to run into, and there doesn't seem to be anybody there at all. Nobody came out to close him down. I must admit, I'll have to watch it again to see where the hell Coulson was, but he definitely wasn't playing left wing back at that point.
I assumed they just all read it as right. Lincoln are going to sling this into the box because they are a big team. Lincoln, they've got plenty of big players, and they'd all gone man for man, all picked up somebody. Lincoln had just left him outside, and then we just hadn't read it at all. And I've watched it back, and I've got no idea where Coulson is.
I mean, it's all right saying that they were expecting that, but you've got to. if you telegraph that you're going to play the ball into the box, you've got to actually be thinking, what if they don't do that, haven't you? Yeah. Because there's quite often dummy runs. There's quite often, dummy passes or whatever. But it was just like it owned up like the bloody Red Sea, didn't it? In biblical,
there was dummy defending, Tim. So there was certainly dummy defending.
Well, I think it's Honeyman was sort of responsible.
Honeyman went out there, but there's usually somebody comes to cover him behind him. If he beats Honeyman, then he's got to deal with the next defender.
Didn't have to beat Honeyman, did he? Because Honeyman stood so far off him that he could get his shot off.
I think
he didn't have to do anything, did he? All he did was cut inside slightly. And he had
I agree with Mark's point that it was pretty pathetic. He sort of vaguely wafted a leg at him and sort of looked a bit miffed that nobody else had tried. He didn't, like you say, Tim, he didn't have to do very much. And like when you're at the other end, obviously you're in the north, aren't you? When you're at the other, you might have been in your soft hospitality, I don't know. But when you're at the south, you get, when the goal's at the other end, you get this sort of vague impression of how it unfolded, and you can't really see the specifics. And it genuinely looked like they just rolled the ball down the line, and then their lad just picked it up and sort of ambled inside and just shot and scored.
Amble.
There was no sign of any disruption to them.
Perfect word to describe amble. He just ambled into the box and thought, hang on a minute, no one's closed me down. I might as well have a shot. Go on, then. Go on, mate.
It was a good finish, but he wasn't made to work for it, was he? It was gifted to. It was like, come on, keep coming. Honeyman stands. We talk about the basics of defending at youth football, and your level one coaching, your touch tight defending. We're nowhere. We're not touch tight. We could have had a longer extended pole, and we still wouldn't have been able to touch him with Honeyman if Honeyman was holding it.
It keeps happening though this season, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a repeated pattern. Hopefully, Evo gets.
So it was. Listen, it was still a good finish, but it was pathetic. But it was pathetic that we didn't have anybody on the left to start off with, because I think they had actually. If I remember right, when the keeper takes the free kick, he's got one player next to him, and then the lad down the line who what's he called, Moyen or whatever he's called. So there was two of them on that side. So, we've got to be thinking about that possibility for me. So I think it was 3 minutes into the game. We haven't quite woken up. Somebody hasn't had their, hasn't started, as a team, we haven't started the game particularly well. And we've just, it's a soft free kick and we're not in the zone. The long and the short of it is we weren't in the zone. And we see that repeated over the first 20 minutes, because we could have been 3-0 down and game fucking over after about 18, couldn't we?
Yeah. I think you're referencing that shot that was just swept over to him, wasn't it? A ball over to the Hackaway.
Oh, I mean, that should have been, that is the target. I think it's 2-0, isn't it, at that point? This is before we get to the second goal. But, it was, I forgot what I wrote down about that. It was we just should have done better. We just looked slow all over the park there, and the guy's frustrated. He's ballooned it over. He's not listened to our Seaside podcast training sessions, has he? Where we've talked about use your laces. He's done exactly what our lads normally do, which is balloon it over the bar, and because he's leaned back too much.
Yeah.
So. So we got away with one there. That was like, because that could have been 2-0 after 10 minutes. So it was concerning, to say the least.
The warnings were not heeded though. A good 5-6 minutes after that chance that had gone begging, they've gone 2 up. Andy, talk us through this view from the south.
View from the south. Attack Hackaway. That was what was being shouted from the Lincoln bench. Attack Hackaway.
To be fair to him, he got something on the ball. Yeah. He did get something.
I was just about to say that. I thought he arguably let the strike, because it was along. They punted I think we were attacking, and all of a sudden they got all the ball, don't they? Do like ping, ping, ping about 4 quite tidy passes, and then they launch it. And maybe he could have attacked the ball, but he lets the striker get it. But he then, when the shot comes in, he does get a half deep. Because I was quite critical of him watching it first time round, but when I've watched it back, he does get something on it, and it's when it rebounds to the next Lincoln attacker that we've got Evans showing his backside to the ball rather than fronting up to it.
Yeah,
face it. You don't turn your back, and he turns the back, and it actually it just had insult to injury. It then deflects off his backside or back or whatever it comes off, and Peacock Farrell's left with no chance. Basically, I don't blame Peacock Farrell for that because it took a spin and a deflection. And went right into the top, right at the far side, in the top corner. I think it went in. But what worried me a little bit before that was, even before we turned our back, nobody went to the man. We just stood off him, just like Hollyman had done with the first goal. We stood off. There's 2 of them there. One of them has to go and close. At least make him work for it. So we just stood there and basically let him have a free shot.
Cue emptying of North.
It looked empty before the start.
Yeah,
9,200.
A lot of people went for a pint, and that second went in.
I think as worrying as the goals conceded were, and maybe this is just me, I never get as angry as other people about conceding goals, but I get almost apoplectic about a lack of attacking play. And we really, really struggled after that. We just made nothing at all. Both goals were crap. They were terrible. But I was more bothered by the fact that up until we got the penalty, we had a couple of shots from Bowler that were speculative at best and were charged down, and nothing else. And we just kept sort of sideways passing it up to the halfway line, panicking because Lincoln were quite hard, and then passing it back and trying again. And we were just getting absolutely nowhere. We were really, really sterile in that first half.
I thought they closed the spaces down between.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they
closed the space down between defence and midfield quite well, and Bowler had nothing to run in. He had nowhere to collect. We weren't fine. It's easy to say Bowler had a crap game and stuff like this, but we weren't finding him in any space. Anytime he was in space, we just didn't find him. It was just like. It was so frustrating to watch, and you just like almost wanting to scream at the pitch. Boys, find the man in space. Get the ball to the man in space, and then we can move it quicker.
Also, take some risks. Take some risks in possession. You're 2-0 down. What are you protecting at 2-0 down? And we would sort of come up the pitch. They'd box us in well because they did that well. They'd close down the passing lane, so we'd just go back to the keeper or back to Horsfall, and we were just going nowhere. And I actually think, although the penalty wasn't, if we sort of move on, although the penalty was a nailed-on penalty, I think we were quite lucky to get the penalty. Yeah. I think it wasn't, it was a perfectly nice ball from Imre. But actually, and you would have been near it as well, Andy, I read it a little bit like the Equi one, where you felt like the defender should have got there before Fletcher. Fletcher did bloody well to get to that ball in front of him. And then he absolutely knew what he was doing. He poked it past the keeper and then made sure he ran into the keeper's arm because he wasn't really going anywhere. He was poking it wide of the keeper, but he made sure he got that penalty. And it was... it was a penalty, but it wasn't as a result of, tremendous play where we kept him pinned in. It was a kind of ball down the line and a bit out of nowhere. And I think if we hadn't got that penalty, we would have really struggled to get back in the game.
It was a life raft. It was a life raft for the game.
Yeah, the defender didn't try and go for the ball. He spent all his time trying to stop Fletcher getting to the ball so it would run through to the keeper. And he just didn't make himself big enough, and Fletcher just went round the side of him. And
I thought Fletcher was superb in there to actually get in between the defender and the goalkeeper in the way that he did, showed some proper acumen, football acumen.
You're right,
and it was a great ball from Imre as well. I thought, in the first place, I was alluding to the fact that Fletcher does some of these runs and then people let him see what he's doing. Imre saw it, put him through. And that's he's taken a chance, and he's actually the keeper and the defender were probably 3 yards apart, and he's got in between them very, very briefly, and then tried to take it away. Nailed on pen all day long for me, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant that we've got, because that did literally, he said that pivoted the game, because if we'd gone into half time and at 2-0 down, I don't think we're getting back into it. And it got us back in, and all of a sudden the play, I think part of the reason we were so crap after the second goal up to that point was because I think the players are deflated, aren't they? They've gone, we had Reading the last home league game where we've been properly turned over, and they're thinking, shit, it's happening again. We've had a decent away result, and then we've come home and we're letting the side down, so to speak. So I think it will hurt the players. It will hurt the players when they concede goals like that, and we can say it's pathetic, and we can say they should do better, but I'm sure they want to do better. Most of them do anyway. And they're good. It's going to affect them. It's going to affect the confidence. It's going to affect their, the way they feel about the game. And that goal pivots it. It was massively important to us.
It's quite interesting. Quite interestingly, everybody around me thought he dived, even those further up the stand. Yeah, those that were right face onto it thought we'd been given one. We got a decision, but as soon as the referee gave it, then the goalkeeper held his hands up, and so you knew that it was a nailed on pen.
I think he played for it. I think it was one of those where he thought, right, poke it past the keeper and run, and he's gone. I think he made it, but it absolutely was a penalty. I don't think there's any question at all. It was a penalty, and I think it was very canny, the fact that he made sure that he went straight into the keeper's arm, and the keeper sort of was like, held his hands up, I've been done. You see them, funnily enough, I was watching the Scottish football on Friday night, and there was an identical one where, slow motion after slow motion, keeper is going for the ball, striker runs past, up over his arm, it's a penalty, no argument, but, you play for it, don't you?
Interesting stats for the first half there. We've nearly got an XG of 1. They've only got an XG of 0.2.
That's surprising.
That's kind of not how it played out, is it? I don't just really remember us creating anything.
Well, they had three good, and scored 2. They had 3 great chances, didn't they?
How can that? Yeah, how can they not have a big chance? According to this, 0 big chances. That one they missed. Got to be a big chance, hasn't it?
Yeah. And when was our big chance apart from the pen?
Are you sure you haven't got the first and the second half stats mixed up, John?
I'll double check. Let's get that graphic off just in case. It does, doesn't it? It does. Half-time sub. Heckway for Lions. Yeah. I think I was saying, and the people around me, he needs to make at least 3 subs at half-time. Evans, Coulson, and Heckway all needed to go off the pitch.
Well, I
was particularly bad in that first half.
I thought it had been so bad that I was genuinely campaigning for CJ on up front, because I just thought we needed some pace. We needed to move him around because we were just getting nowhere. And God bless him. Yeah, you must have played badly if you're looking longingly at CJ at half time, thinking, "Get him on,"
Well, I not that I do it often, as I keep saying, but I was in hospitality. And I was with there was quite a few guys who came, like Bill. I was a guest of James Scott Associates, and there was quite a lot of guys there who weren't necessarily Blackpool fans. They were Man U and whatever, and they were actually commiserating me all the time, saying, "Do you watch that every week? Is that what it's like?" And I'm going, "Yeah." And they were saying, "Jesus, how do you do it?" But it's true, isn't it?
Did it say to you, it can't get any worse, can it?
Well, I did say we normally have one good half. So we put a crap one half and then we're better. So hopefully that's the crap half and we're going to see something a bit better, which we did, as we'll go on to discuss. But it's interesting when you come out of the BFC bubble and you've got people, the football fans, they came from various places and they were all from Blackpool. And they couldn't believe how shit we were in the first half.
So Lions was on for a heck way. I've got in my notes here, flaky start to the second half. They scored an offside goal as well, Mitch, down your end, didn't they? Yeah, quite a nice little overhead kick, offside goal. It was kind of almost an easy decision to make offside. I watched the replay. It didn't look that. There wasn't a lot in it, really, was there?
It felt offside at the time. It was one of them, where, it felt offside. And to be fair, whether it felt offside at the time or whether the flag did go up very quickly, so I knew it wasn't a goal very quickly.
Yeah.
They didn't argue about it a lot, did they?
No, it was just one of them where you just felt that. My highlight of the first 10 minutes was when Lyons came on and then cleaned out Imre as he went to head the ball away. I don't know if you saw that. And I think the ball was up in the air. Imre was completely set for it, right underneath it. Big German Lions, just for no reason at all, legged it over about 10 yards, leapt in the air, cleaned out Imre, and neither of them headed the ball, which is great. I think he was maybe keen to impress in that.
There was like about 30 people around me all shouting, "One of you!"
It's like when there's two fielders in the outfield, isn't it? Going for a big slog right on the rope.
Yeah.
Looking up.
Just our luck, wasn't it? Both of them going down with cut heads.
Or Imre doing another serious injury.
Yeah,
Tangerine Army in the comments. Yes, I absolutely agree with you there. It wasn't Tim in hospitality for Carlisle, but rarely.
Well, there was a slight. Did you not detect the irony in my comment?
No, there wasn't any irony in that whatsoever. Tim.
It was laced with irony. That was, John, laced with it.
You said it laced with his double Cointreau that he has with his coffee in hospitality.
Yeah, double Cointreau. Brilliant.
You don't get Cointreau in soft hospitality, Andy.
He's ironic.
It was a full on. I've got to say the wine.
Cointreau coffee waiter.
If you ever want to have a sober do in hospitality, go up there and ask and order a bottle of the white wine that comes on the table. Well, you don't have to order it; it's on the table. It was dreadful. I don't know who their sommelier is, but he's not as nice as Blue Nun. Jesus, it was. I ended up pouring it in the ice bucket. The glass it poured. It was that bad.
They pour drinks like that in a plant that's near you, don't they? And the plant dies. Goes,
I didn't want to do that till they killed the plant.
You might have got barred out of soft hospitality.
In all seriousness, Everton, we talked about that quite a lot, stupidly, when I worked there. And we used to put decent stuff on because they would have more and more. And it worked a treat. Like within half an hour of them sitting down, we were selling more and more and more bottles, and that was a big markup for us. So, like, maybe
whoever tasted that white wine and thought it was a good idea to buy a load of it wants sacking. I think there must be the David Downs of wine purchasing.
Is it I've forgotten his bloody name, the Malcolm Abui of wine.
I'll have a bottle of Malcolm.
Right, let's get back on track. I've got my notes here. Lazy Evans pass, giving the ball away in midfield. Lincoln break and nearly score. And Just I forgot it was in the first half. Really wound me up. A lazy corner from Evans. It was like leaning back, lazy, didn't beat the first man. Another lazy pass during the game. It's just his approach to the game is just lazy.
I remember that corner you're on about because I remember screaming at the time, like, just it's criminal for me not to beat the first man when taking a corner. It's just like, and again, going back to the kids' football, if a kid can do it and do it pretty much every single time, how can a pro not? When you've got to, whatever you do, you've got to beat the first man. And
can we have a yearly? Can we have a yearly stat this week, please, Mitch? When how many corners we've scored from and how many corners we've conceded from in the last 3 seasons?
I'll do my best on that one, but I was, funnily enough, at the game. I was trying to remember when was the last time we actually scored from a corner, and
we never score from corners. I keep saying. I
was just going to say, you see, I mean, obviously his all-round game wasn't good enough because the lad's at Chorley now, but we had Jack Moore, young fullback, didn't we, if you remember him a few years ago, and he seemed to have the ability to hang the ball in, sort of in that danger zone, under the bar, with pace, properly whip it every time. Now, I only saw him play 5 or 6 times, but he could put a good ball in every time. And he might have lacked other attributes. His all-round game might not have been good enough. But the point is, why don't we have a player that can reliably cross a football? It's really weird. Like, I never played to any particular level, but you'd practice corners. You'd practice taking corners and you'd get them and they'd go in the same place. And if you got into a groove, you get them there. And it's just like it's so long since we've had someone who could consistently put a cross or a corner in there. If you remember, the best player I've ever seen crossing for us was Rick Holden.
Just about to say it, Rick Holden. Yeah.
He only played like 9 or 10 games for us, but every ball was just Fiendog was brilliant. Feeney onto Armand. Every ball get down the flank. Yeah. Every ball in was dangerous, and we've just been consistently rubbish at it for ages, haven't we? I don't know why, because we've got players who are technically good. We've got lots of players who are technically good. We've had lots of players who've been technically good, who've got good touch, who can actually seem to pass quite well in open play, but we just don't ever seem to have that.
Well, Evans is actually, he can do a half decent crossfield ball, 50 yards, but he can't beat the first man on at 25 yards. I don't get it. And I'm sorry, Bison. Bison says he does some great corners. Yeah, maybe 1 in 10. It's like the CJ when he starts, how many good games he has. It's just not. I've never ever put him on a free kick or a corner ever again. It's just not. He's not consistent enough. The number of crap dead balls he does. It is literally 1 in 10 that's half decent.
We put Bowler on one, didn't we? One corner we had on our right. We put Bowler on it. But
that was the one with the Bloxham when Bloxham, I think, flicked it over, if I remember rightly. I think it was that one.
Don't know.
It sort of came down.
One we had on the other side for Evans went to take it, but look, I think you can argue. I just feel as though it's not lack of ability from Evans. It doesn't feel like lack of ability because he showed it when he first came that he had ability. But he definitely slows the ball down for us. In my opinion, that he slows the ball down, and we need to start moving it faster, not slowing it down.
I've got that in my notes, Andy, moving the ball too slow, particularly the first half. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about subs then. 73 minutes and 74 minutes. Taylor, great to see Dale Taylor coming back for Tom Bloxham. Scott Banks a minute after for George Honeyman. Were these subs a bit too late? Banks, for me, should have come on a lot sooner. I thought he should have come on for Coulson. Just he's left-footed, isn't he, Banks?
Yeah, well, we were saying that. That was, to me, that was the obvious one. So I was quite surprised. I don't know whether Bowler was carrying a bit of a knock or something. I'm quite, because I think Banks came on for Bowler, didn't he, at the end? And
no, Morgan came on for Bowler after about an hour.
Oh right, okay. Sorry, I've got mixed up then. But I was a bit surprised. I thought that Bowler came off unless he had a bit of a knock or whatever. Because obviously we're trying to get back in the game, aren't we? And he's always somebody who I feel can unlock things. But I think the subs were required. But I do. It was a bit Critchley-esque, wasn't it? The way that we left it. He'd been quite decisive at half time, and I felt on 60 minutes that's when we should have been looking to do something. But we did ring the changes in. To be fair.
Did they have the effect? Well, they obviously did have the effect.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought Taylor looked quite sharp, and I think with Taylor, he gets quite a lot of flack from some people because he costs some money, and I quite liked the flashes of what I saw of him, like his raw ability, but he never looked like he suited Bruce Ball. And I feel like we've just got to start again with Taylor and see what we get out of him. And I think he'll probably suit this much more footballing approach. And I thought he looked quite sharp. And I thought he Bloxham has worked hard over the last 5 or 6 games. I thought Bloxham ran out of steam a bit on Saturday. I thought it looked like a game too far for him. He looked knackered. And Taylor sort of freshened things up. He just made sort of some quite clever runs. He went wide. He dropped deep. He did the opposite of what Fletcher was doing, and he made a bit of space. Banks, of course, had an impact again. I mean, that was great, that ball he put in for the goal. And it's one of the most frustrating things is you can't really get him into the starting lineup because he's not a 10. He's not a wing back. We don't play wing. It's difficult, but he just keeps having impact. And it was a really clever cross he put in for the goal. But before that, he put a ball across to the near post that it was only some really, really good defending, like real sort of the opposite of our defending. Their lad who absolutely threw himself in at the near post. When Fletch looked about to put it away, Banks had made that as well. So, yeah, the subs definitely did have an impact. And Morgan had an impact as well. He came on, he was full of energy. And ultimately, CJ also had an impact, didn't he? So they all had an impact. Whether they should have been 10 minutes early, I don't know.
2 things mentioned. Number 1, number 6 should have been sent off after about 10 minutes.
Yes.
Because he should have had a yellow for pulling somebody back. I can't remember who it was.
It was Bowler, I think, very early on.
Yeah. He pulled him back, and the referee's not booked him but booked everyone else for a shirt pull in the whole game.
It was almost like it was so early he wasn't going to book him, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and it was a yellow, and then he had a rash tackle, didn't he? After about 10 minutes, and
could have been a red on its own. That could have been red on its own.
Yeah, quite well. If his name was Ennis, it would have been.
We've got the Honeyman miss as well that we've forgotten to
also
talk about.
A bit of a housery from Imre that stopped an attack of theirs, which is quite dangerous when he pulled the guy's shirt back and got.
That good yellow. That good yellow.
He sort of ran away from it. Yeah, the miss from Honeyman. Fletch again creating it, wasn't it? It was pulled back from Fletch, wasn't it? Honeyman coming onto it and then just slapping it wide.
Did he go at it with the wrong foot? He should have gone in with a
Honeyman had a really odd game. I don't know what anybody else thought about it, but I thought he had a really strange game.
He's not firing all cylinders at the moment, is he? Isn't George? And it's a pity because he's got the ability. And listen, players go through peaks and troughs, don't they? But we could really do with him lighting up the game, couldn't we? And take, because he's got the ability and taking the game to the opposition. Because then if you get him and Bowler and Banks and Imre doing that, then all of a sudden we are creating lots of opportunities for ourselves. But he just seems to be off the boil at the moment. And whether it's just a hangover from his injury. Go on.
Now? Instead of kicking Tyler Jones. Yeah. Out of Bowler and Honeyman, who touched the ball most? out of the two?
It's got to be Bowler, isn't it?
It's Bowler. Who made most tackles?
Bowler.
Bowler. Who made most key passes?
Bowler.
Who had more headers in the game?
Fucking hell, if George is losing that one to Bowler, Jesus.
And that was quite interesting because I came off thinking, I don't think Honeyman played very well at all today. And then I went and looked at the stats, and he actually, apart from the strikers who you do expect to touch the ball less, that's just the nature of it, strikers touch the ball less, he had the least touches of anybody on the pitch. And I thought that was quite interesting because that's not what you think of him at all, is he? He's the fulcrum. He's the sort of buzzing round. He's there in everything. And it felt like, I don't know whether it was the combination of him, Evans and Bowler, whether he just didn't, well, Sean's just got there, whether it just didn't fit together, but he just never seemed to quite be in the right position on the pitch. He sort of wasn't quite an attacking forward. He wasn't quite a box-to-box 8. He wasn't quite a 6. And I just ended up thinking, well, what is he actually doing? And he, every time I looked at him, he was running around and trying quite hard, but he just didn't seem to really do anything.
Is Evans ruining his game?
Well, I don't know.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
Or is that just beating the stick on Evans for Evans' sake? But the reality is, we don't know, do we? You'd have to sort of see the formation with Morgan in there or with Brown in there, and then watch very closely Honeyman's performance. But even then, it's not giving you a true reflection, is it? Because it depends who you're playing. It depends on all sorts of other different. It's a team game, isn't it? Then it just depends how the whole team's clicking as to what impact Honeyman can have in a game. But I've noticed it's been noticeable. He's not doing what we expect, is he?
No, and it's something. I think for me, it's something. We'll go to January. I think it's something that the midfield, that would be where I'd start, because I think that we need more than just a midfielder, but we need another midfielder in there, because there are combinations of plays where it doesn't work. Final fact, and you probably know the answer to this: which of our players is number 4 in the entire squad for tackles per game across the season? Who do you think that could be?
Did he used to wear a headband?
He's gone back to wearing a headband.
Oh, he has. Did he used to
Isn't
have
that astonishing? Isn't that astonishing when you remember the Bowler before, and now he's 4th in tackles per game? And to be fair, Honeyman is number 2. So, Honeyman, it's not typical for Honeyman not to be putting his foot in and getting the tackles. Honeyman has been one of our few players making tackles. Now, it either says how pathetic our tackling is overall that Josh Bowler's number 4 on our list of tackles per game, or it shows that Josh has, in his time away, addressed some of the weaknesses in his game that he very certainly had with us. Because there was
I think you've got Evo to thank for that, based on what he said.
Yeah.
In his latest post-match interview, he's been drilling into Bowler what he expects of him and the improvements he needs to make. And I think Josh has obviously taken it on board, and he's
also played more centrally, isn't he, under in Evo's system than he when he was with us previously. He was very much on the wing, wasn't he, and then coming in. So you're probably going to be less likely to tackle out there than you are in the middle of the park. But it's interesting because it is not the if you had like it was the old top trumps or whatever in football cards, you wouldn't put Bowler down in your top tackling and top heading and anywhere near, would you? You'd be if you were comparing like with any other player on the pitch, you'd expect him to be pretty much near the bottom of the bottom of those stats.
Josh the enforcer Bowler, as Mark says in there.
Anyway, going
new
back
Gary Brabbin.
Going back to the Evans thing, Evans didn't start at Rotherham. Brown and Honeyman did with Bowler in front. So don't be surprised if we we probably play Morgan. If we don't play Bowler on Saturday, don't be surprised.
It's going to be interesting, though, isn't it? The midfield three.
Well, you don't think Bowler's going to play
Morgan.
Saturday, do you know, Andy?
No.
Fit enough to me.
He might go for a more solid. Try and go for a more solid three than having Bowler, but who knows? Who knows? Like, he's certainly the one that's going to unlock defences for sure.
Bowler's the most solid, though, Andy. Have you not been listening? What do you mean? He's solid.
No.
He's so solid, crew.
I know. Maybe this is where we've.
I think Bison's has been briefed as Evans' counsel for the defence. Get your wig, Bisons, and get.
I think there's only Bisons that have Evans in the team on Saturday.
It's not like Bisons just to take the contrarian view, just to be contrarian, is it?
So what you're saying really, Mitch, is that Bowler's in our most solid three.
Well, for me, he is. I mean, for me, he's in our. I'd said right at the beginning. I don't think it's any coincidence that we played very well at Rotherham, and it was Bowler's first start back in a while. And I think you need that kind of player with the way we've set up. You need that link between the midfield attack. I think he does that very well. But I think my point is, rather than really seriously is suggesting he's the new Andy Morrison, is that you are getting some all-round performances out of him. You are getting some effort, and he's not just sitting there waiting for the ball to come and then running into because he could be guilty of that. He used to drive us mental when he was here last time. When he came back, we all went, "Oh yeah, it's brilliant, it's going fantastic." But how many times on here did we sit there going, "Bloody Bowler"? He just stopped running and he just watched. He could be a really frustrating player. But, I just think it's a good sign that he's motivated and digging in and doing the hard bits as well.
I'd written Bowler off 2 or 3 games ago. I was thinking it's a waste of a signing, but yeah, he's really. Evo's really getting the best, to coin a phrase, as Evo is really getting a tune out of him. Let's go on about the goal then.
Who needs TC?
TC's in employment somewhere else. Last time I heard,
he's gone somewhere, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was listening.
Find out.
I was listening
Cayman
to
Islands.
Was it like Warsaw somewhere, or
That
Cayman Islands physio or something?
In the comments, someone let us know, where is TC?
Tim's right.
Out of everyone.
Tim's right. Walsall.
What, the manager?
No, football coach coaching at Walsall FC. According to Wikipedia,
he's getting a tune out of Ryan Finnegan, because Finnegan was League 2 Player of the Month. I saw. He's getting a tune out of Finnegan.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, yeah, we digress.
Another one who prospers when we don't need it.
Ashley Fletcher's goal then. I've put in my notes. A brilliant bombed cross into the box from Banks. It was kind of weird the way he struck the ball, but it just caused havoc and confusion. And that's what you get from Banks. You just get the unexpected, and no one was expecting that ball to come in early cross.
I don't think Taylor was he? Because he sort of scuffed it.
He slashed it. Now, CJ, let's have a discussion about this. Was it a shot or a cross? Because I think it was a scuffed shot.
I watched him back about 3 times, and I'm still not sure. But I think I want to be kind to him and say he set Fletcher up, but I really don't think he did.
He gets an assist for it, doesn't he?
It was a beautiful
Thank
moment.
God CJ miskicked it.
It was a beautiful moment of deceptive calculation from our wing wizard. Our number 22.
This one from Sean. The most CJ assist of all time. Great slice from CJ. Bison's beautiful mishit from CJ. From Mark, CJ Penenka'd it. So I think the jury is conclusive. There, Tim. What's the
I
court
think
phrase
that's a 12-0 slam dunk on the jury, isn't it? Convicted
after his falling over slide tackle at Rotherham. Goes an assist.
He's got 2 comedy assists, 2 in a row, hasn't he?
This is his future. Last 5 minutes, comedy
assists.
Yeah.
He will be. His agent will have marked him up on the wall.
Yeah.
G's and A's. 8. 2 more for CJ this week.
Let's get the second half
that will
stats
be noted.
up. Is there any? Is there?
I don't think it'll be any highlights reel of assists, though, will it?
Is there a metric there for comedy assists? No, there isn't.
Expected lols.
I said the other week. So there's multiple times where you laugh at something CJ's done, and it's happened again. But joking aside, he's made things happen, hasn't
he? He's come off the bench, right? This is genuinely true, right? I got a text from my, I'd say friend, but you can't be given who he supports. My acquaintance who supports Preston North End, and he texted me with, "See, things are going well for the Lashers. Ha ha ha! Another great performance again. Why do you bother going?" or something like that. So I replied with, "Well, CJ's not on the pitch yet, so there's still hope." And then about 2 minutes later, I said, "He's on." Texted me, mate, "He's on." And then about 2 minutes later, texted 2-2, CJ assist. And that was...
Big fat boo. Big fat boo.
That was your response.
Yeah, well, he makes things happen. Super sub.
Old Erica.
CJ Hamilton, North Stand.
Erica the Boo.
So we've got a point. We probably deserved all 3, actually, given the stats there. The first half was correct, by the way. I have double checked whole match stats. XG of 2 to there, XG of 0.69. Dominated possession, missed more big chances, and it's a game we could have won. But again, just joking aside, it's fantastic to see this team has finally got some resilience in them, because certainly under Steve Bruce, that would not have happened had we gone 2 down.
No, we were ending games, weren't we, under Bruce? And it looked like we weren't even trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
We just got playing out the last 10 minutes, losing a game, and just like time was just passing. And that's not how we're playing now.
A couple of things to me. Oh, so one in particular to me, because we mentioned about everyone else, but like during these run of games that we've just had, where Ennis and Taylor's been injured, we've been left with Fletcher and Bloxham. Fletcher obviously is coming a bit deeper at times to link play and whatever. But Bloxham, I know he's got a load of stick over time, but he's ran his absolute nads off at times, and he's chasing down, he's trying his best to close down and press, and it can't be easy when you've probably never played that way before in that position, and he's absolutely given everything he's got, and let's not forget that, because we didn't have anyone else to do that job, by the way, and he is a really good presence that troubles defenders. Ennis and Taylor won't compete aggressively with the back four particularly, and unsettle them. They'll just snap up balls that are put through, and chances that we create, they're more likely to put away than blocks them. But he's tried his absolute art out for this team over the last few weeks, and let's not forget that.
Okay,
I'd second that, Andy. And I've been quite critical of him not being able to hold the ball up or not making contact with centre backs and not using his physicality. And actually, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, he has really improved in that. You know, he's not necessarily outstanding at it yet, but I think this, whatever it has been, run of 6 or 7 games under Everett where he's had to play up front. I think 2 things have happened. Is number one, that's probably been quite good for him to just play in a position for that length of time and play 90 minutes come what may. And number 2, I think he's had the coaching that he looked like he wasn't getting previously, because he has gradually improved. There was one in, I can't remember which game it was. It might have been a Carlisle game, might have been an early one. There was one where he just rolled his centre back. The ball came in, he just got his backside into his centre back, span him, and then ran away. And it's what I've been wanting him to do for about the last 4 months, but him just not seeming to understand that was what he was doing. And he's done that. He's done that more, and there is that improvement with him there. That is good to see.
He looks fitter as well.
Yeah,
fitness he does. Yeah. He's not blowing out of his backside, is he? When he goes anywhere near a ball, which is good to see. So I think, and again, that's probably Everett's got them. He's getting them fitter, you know. And he was one, I think, that we were quite critical about. He didn't look fit, whether it's because he was still coming back from injury or there may be some other reasons we don't know. But you know, he looks fit to me now, which is good. I think he actually had a better game. We know we didn't really dwell on Rotherham. He had a better game at Rotherham. I thought him and Fletcher at Rotherham were linking up really, really well. Don't think he had such a good game on Saturday, but he's putting the effort in, which is if you can't put, you're not playing well, if it's not running for you, you put your effort in, and it comes back to Evo's observation, doesn't it, that we're not going to lose a game because we're not the hardest working team on the pitch.
I also would give a shout out to Zach Ashworth. I thought he, particularly second half, he put some absolute clattering tackles in. And he brings a mobility to that back line. You know, Horsefall is fine as the big granite rock in the middle. I quite like the horse. I know you're not as sure about him, John, but I quite like him. But I think he works if you've got some mobility around him. And I think Ashworth has that. You know, he's a left centre back. You'd never want him, you know, if it was a 2, you wouldn't want him playing there all season. But in a back 3, he's the kind of player that I quite like, that has a bit of mobility. And when he a couple of times he stepped up into midfield and he absolutely leathered one of their players and came away with the ball in a way that we don't do very often. And I do like that. I want to say this because I was actually quite critical of Ashworth when we signed him. I just couldn't see the point in him. I thought he looked crap, to be honest. And he's come back and he's got a steeliness about him that he just didn't have before he went away. And I do quite like him in the back 3.
And interestingly, when Everett had him at Bolton, he had him on loan at Bolton, and I think he played him at wing back then. So yes, at least Evo knows about him, which will obviously give him a bit more confidence. And he did play him at Bolton a bit more than he was played with us. So, that will probably give him a bit more confidence that if he puts the effort in, he'll get game time as well.
It reminds me a little bit of Casey. When we first signed Casey, I just couldn't see Ollie Casey. I really couldn't. I thought, he can't defend. I mean, he's all right. He can play football, but he's bloody useless. If you remember that first season when we had him, I just didn't get him. And then he's obviously far better than I realised. And I can see something a little bit like that with Ashworth, where the more I see of him, the more I think I like him. He's just got that. He'll just go through players. And we've got so few players that will do that.
Give us a score for him then, Andy. Mitch.
Ashworth.
Yeah. Play ratings.
I'll go for an 8.
Round the room then with the rest. Peacock Farrell, Andy.
He didn't really have a lot to
do, did he? Didn't do much. Distribution a bit slow and ponderous at times, I thought.
I think that was more about what was going on in front of him, to be fair.
He did come out and have a right shout, which is unlike him. He came out and had a go at the centre-backs for just being so static. And he came out at one point, I don't know if you saw this, Andy, he came out and went, what am I supposed to do if you just stay there? And then they pushed up more which I thought was fair play to him to actually come and do that.
7+. I don't think he didn't really have much.
Yeah.
He couldn't do nothing about the goals.
No, don't blame him for them, do you?
I think it's a good indication of the defence maybe that he's not had many saves to make really. Although the first half was a bit of a shit show, wasn't it? Tim, Hack Away and Lions.
I'll go 6 on Hack Away and I'll go 7+ on Lions.
Mitch, you've done Ashworth, haven't you? So Andy, you can have Horsefall.
The horse, I like the horse. I'm with Mitch. I think he's growing as a player. He looks to me like he's developing a bit more as a leader, especially when he's the senior player of the back three. And
we have been missing that, haven't we? We've said that throughout the season.
Absolutely. I'm going to give him 8.
That's fair. Now, Tim, Lee Evans got 8.1 on the FOTMOB scale. This is obviously data-driven scores. Does that reflect reality?
No, well, he took his penalty well. I don't think we really mentioned that, but it was a well-taken penalty. Beyond that, I'm struggling. And it was a really well-taken penalty, to be fair. But showing your arse when somebody's shooting at you is a big no for me. And not beating your first man's a big no for me. And that's before you get to his influence on the way we play. I'm not going to hammer him because I've 6.
Okay. Mitch, Hayden Coulson, polarising opinions. Some like him, some hate him. How do you think he played?
I'm struggling with Coulson. He's again. There was a chance when there was a point where I shouted, "For fuck's sake, get tight, Hayden," or something along those lines, because he just backs off. And
I don't think he offers enough defensively, and he doesn't offer enough offensively either, does he?
I think he's soft.
Yeah,
I literally do think he's soft. He was trying to get off that pitch for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and when we first signed him, he seemed to have quite an engaging way of bursting forward with the ball. But now he just looks manic. Nothing he does looks controlled. I think he's struggling. I mean, he didn't do anything horrendously wrong. He disappeared for the first goal.
Is he taking Theo Corbyn, who's the out of control shopping trolley?
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. He has that sort of mania. He just runs very fast in a knock-kneed way, and the ball just kind of springs off him as like a pinball machine. And I'm just not convinced. What did we give Iekwe?
6.
So Coulson can have 6+, if that's the base score.
Right, Andy, George Honeyman, not one of his best games. No. Possibly his worst in a tangerine shirt.
Probably, and I still think this is down to playing with Evans. I think he's better without Evans. He's better at Rotherham without Evans. But anyway, 5.
Tim, Josh Bowler, possibly unlucky to get hooked on 65.
It was interesting. I assumed he must be injured because I was quite frustrated he got something out. And somebody in the chat said he was not happy about it either. And I just feel at the moment he's sort of getting back to where we want him to be, and I would have probably kept him on. I'll go 8.
Yeah. Mitch, Danny Imre got an assist for the good penalty. Does it count? Yeah. The guy's a class act, isn't he? 6.7 on FOTMOB. I think that's a bit unrepresentative.
He's a good player. I think Imre has had more impactful games. Great ball for the penalty, like you say. Didn't do anything particularly wrong. One of the things I do really like about Imre is, for a player who's so good going forward, he's actually pretty diligent at the back. You know, he's not a player that you think, oh, he's going to get beaten in the air, or you are what's the word? You are paying for the attack with weakness at the back. I thought he did. I thought he had a decent game. 8-.
Okay, front line. Ash, you can have Ash. Andy, you can have Tom Bloxham. You banged the drum for him before, didn't you?
Yeah, not particularly for this game. Just saying over the period where we've had Ennis and Taylor out, that he's put his hand up and he's done his absolute best in my opinion. But Saturday wasn't he wasn't great on Saturday. Maybe seven.
Finally, Ash Fletcher, Tim got the penalty, scored a goal.
You're playing up front, and that's what you've got to do, haven't you? He's heavily influenced the game. He got the sponsors man of the match. Not that necessarily means too much, but I think you've won the pen. You've got the equaliser. Generally, his all-round play I thought was not. Listen, it wasn't fantastic, but it was good. So I think he just beats off competition. I think from Horsfall and Imre for me for man of the match. Go 8+.
Man of the match is round the room, Mitch.
Oh, Fletch every day.
Andy.
Yeah, I'll have that.
3 for 3, 4 for 4, I think. Right, just before we go, we've got Wigan coming up this Saturday. Think about our last week just gone. 3 games in, 6 days? Played 3, won 2, drawn 1. It's a great return for 6 days, 3 games in 6 days. You can't really ask for anything more, can you? And I think we would have snapped your hands off at 4 points from those 2 games on a passage into the third round of the FA Cup. So well done, Evo, for turning the ship around. Yeah, thought it was desperate times after that Reading result. So we can go to Wigan in confidence. Wigan unbeaten in 5 themselves. So going to be a cagey affair, I think. How do we all think this game's going to go? And are we all going?
I'm going.
Yeah.
4 for 4. 4 for 4. It's your former stamping ground, isn't it?
I want us to win, so I'll say we're going to lose 1-0.
Yeah, 12:30 kickoff, early kickoff. Tim, your thoughts?
We're not good at early kickoffs, are we? Are we on TV? Is that why it's early kickoff?
There'll be a game on Sky, won't it?
For fuck's sake. Listen, I'm going to be trying to be positive because I actually predicted us to lose on Saturday in our group. So that didn't happen. So let's go. Let's go for a win this one. Let's see what we can do. I think if we can go into it's our last game before the Christmas run of fixtures, isn't it? I think what a positive statement it would make if we could get ourselves out of that bottom 4 on Saturday. And then go into that run of fixtures with 2 home games back to back and replicate what we've just done over the last 3 games again. If we can get 7 points out the next 9, that'd be fantastic. Let's start on Saturday on Ashley's fun bus from Polton. Let's do it.
Mitch, Blackpool scored 11 in the last 5. Wigan have only scored 6 in the last 5. We're scoring that, not scoring many. So
logic dictates, John, given those numbers, logic dictates that we will win by a factor of 2-1. And I'm going to go for an unlikely but very exciting Wigan Athletic 2, Blackpool 4. Just because it would be fun.
Christmas. And don't forget, after Saturday, then we've got 3 out of 4 games at home.
Yeah.
And it's a massive period. This next 5 games is massive for us. Really is massive. They're potentially all winnable games. We really have got it. Anyway,
well, I think you've got to give. I mean, there's plenty to do with this side. There's no question. We could do another pod about what we need in January and what we need to still improve. But the one thing is, we're scoring goals from open play. I know XG splits opinion, but our XG is, we were getting to the end of games under Bruce with an XG of like 0.3 or something quite regularly, and now under Everett we're seeing 1.5, 2. 2+. I think we got 2 in that last game, and we're doing what we weren't doing, which is right we're doing before, which are actually making chances. So you can go into games, even though there's still a lot to do, even though we're in the bottom 2 still. You know, you can go into games thinking we've got a chance, we can score, we can beat teams, and I think he deserves some credit for that, because we it's hard to overstate how shit we were before, and now we are, you know, inconsistent, sometimes good, sometimes bad, overall mediocre, but that's progress.
Anyway, we should have Ennis coming back, shouldn't we, in the next game or two?
Just a very quick one, John, before we pack up. My grandson's giving me a bit of earache about wanting to go to Ipswich because it's the FA Cup. So I've been looking at how much it is. Wow. How much is it to get to Ipswich? So, yeah.
It's 100 odd quid on the train, isn't it?
Do you know what we should do? Wouldn't it be great if Carl, the visionary, did it for Wigan, didn't he? All those years ago.
He did, yeah.
How about the club offer something, do something for the fans to get a few down there? Because it's a big ask to ask people to spend the money that's been spoken about to get down there, and it's not on the face of it. It's not the most attractive fixture. So, you know, let's do something. Let's try and get everybody on the same page. You know, and you know we're improving as a side. Let's see. Come on, Blackpool, do something. Discount something, you know, put a coach on, do something, and get a few people down there.
Yeah,
it'd show a bit of intent, that's for sure, and we need positivity running out the club, don't we? We've spoken about that quite a lot, and still there's radio silence from the club, really. So, like, you know. We've got to get the club have got to get on page with the fans.
I remember when that happened at the Wigan we had to win, and it really it gave them a lot of brownie. Well, it also gave the Oysters a lot of brownie points. Whatever you think about them, it got them a lot of brownie points, didn't it? Because, you know, and that's what, sometimes we want to, like Andy says, we want to hear a little bit. We don't hear a lot. Let's hear something on this that we go into the Christmas period and people are talking very positively, and I think something like that would put 500 extra on how many go, and that could be quite important, because God, it's I mean, anybody who's been down there, it's a long schlep to go down, isn't it? And you've got to get people engaged with that, because it's the third round of the cup and we want to progress. I think we've said before, Evo's somebody who seems to be likes to take the cup seriously. Let's give him and the lads some backing down there.
It's the last cup we're in.
Okay, let's hope the club mirror those opinions and make Blackpool up for the cup and get as many numbers as they can down to Ipswich. Okay, we'll leave it there. Do like and subscribe to the video if you're watching on the YouTube channel. Try and get us up to 2,000. We're nearly there, very close. Get the notification bell for all other notification when we do videos. Thanks for the panel. Thanks for everybody on the comments for joining in with the show. 90 minutes. Nick would have been having kittens had he been on.
I was just thinking that then.
He'd have been doing this, putting messages in the private chat. Come on, we're on an hour, but plenty to be talked about.
We've done a nick and a half, haven't we?
Great stuff. Okay, yep. So hopefully we'll be coming back after Wigan. Hopefully with 3 more points and up the pool.
Up the pool.
Up the pool.
Been involved in 2. Can he make 3? Not on this occasion. Well taken by Walsh. Davis is on the far side. Ainsko coming square. That's the ball. That's a good try. What a goal! Oh!